guys made this original, cool, scary movie. Can you kind of talk about where the inception for this thing came from and how you guys actually got together and put it together?
Yeah, I mean, the inception of the birth of the idea really came in between writing a couple other scripts. Stu and I, we constantly found ourselves just watching these ghost hunting TV shows and being super entertained by them. And we thought to ourselves, we were trying to write a low-budget script at the time, and we were just like, this would be a great vehicle for a low-budget found footage film that you could really do something cool with. So that's kind of the birth of the idea.
Right, because, everybody, these shows are pretty popular now. A lot of people like them. But the whole thing is it's always kind of a letdown because you never really see anything, It'll be like, some dust floats by and they're like, oh my God, is this a ghost? And they zoom in and it's like this whole thing. And it's like, you don't see anything. So we wanted to make, a ghost hunting show gone wrong where you really do see something. And you do in this film.
Now, can you kind of talk about that aspect of it, making the ghosts, making them what they are, and how you bring the scares into the movie and how it's a little bit different from what we've seen before?
I think, obviously there's a film, there's the Blair Witch Project, Paranormal Activity, these kind of films are films that we like a lot, but the truth is they really don't show very much in those movies, especially Blair Witch. You basically see nothing. So we just want to take it a bit farther and
Hopefully get away with it.
Yeah.
Obviously seeing nothing works for a horror film because it's all keeping everything in the dark and stuff. And this film is a very dark film. When Stu and I made the film, we kept the lights off. We wanted the scares to come by surprise. So it's nothing too Hollywood.
Well, I was going to say, when you're working with a smaller budget and you're not Hollywood and you don't have to adhere to a lot of the rules that the genre demands when you're making like a bigger movie that's going to go play at the Cineplex and all the teenagers are going to go see it at night. So that must have been good for you guys because there's a certain freedom in that to make what you guys want to make as opposed to somebody telling you what to make.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, we tried to make something that I think could still have a lot of appeal to people. But I mean,
that's not what I meant. Just you got freedom to go a little bit further.
Right.
I was like, only one person is going to like this movie.
Right.
That's not what I said.
Two people are going to.
Two people, two.
You
No.
two like it.
Well,
guys
it's
as
like
well.
we're the Vicious Brothers, and I think that's our approach to making films. Is we're huge horror fans, but I mean the reality is a lot of horror movies in the last 10 years have basically become kind of weak. I think the whole genre has gone a little bit, unfortunately, by the wayside, and it's just just plays it safe too often.
Yeah.
Whether it's to get a PG-13 rating or just not piss people off. A lot of horror movies just don't go for it, and we have some
We didn't
dark.
have any restrictions.
Yeah, we didn't have any
of course we were going to
restrictions.
go for it.
Yeah, let's go for it. Let's push it a little bit farther and try to make people uncomfortable
Am
sometimes.
I wrong, or do you guys even have a rating on this movie? This is unrated, right?
It's unrated.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
This bitch is unrated right here.
Now, it's weird looking at the poster because when I'm looking at you, I can see that weird face. Is that intentional or not? Or am I just seeing ghosts?
I think you're just tripping out.
Maybe. No, look, if I look at him, there's a whole face there, but up here, there's the mouth kind of staring in the nose and the eyes. You don't see it. It's kind of a skull.
Zoom in there.
You guys don't know what I'm talking about.
I do not really see it.
Right, here's the mouth, here's the eyeballs, here's the
Oh,
nose.
okay,
you
sure.
don't see it
No, I do
until
see
you're
it.
looking at
I
him
see it
and
now.
you see it like it's peripheral.
I don't think that's intentional.
It's pretty spooky though. Right? No, you guys have an excellent cast in this movie. I enjoyed every performance in there. Can you talk about getting these guys and exactly what you saw in them that made you want to put them in the movie and kind of working with them and what it was like to have these guys actually be on a show within a show in a movie? If that makes sense.
Right. I mean, the casting process was, casting any film is pretty grueling, but we had a really awesome casting director that helped us put together the perfect ensemble of people to do the project with. And when we wrote the script, we kept it open for a lot of improv so that, it wouldn't feel too scripted, because with found footage, you want it to feel like it's really happening. You want the actors to have a certain level of freedom. So when we made the film, we made it with that kind of style, and I think it worked really well.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we wrote basically a full script. Because obviously the movie was going to necessitate going back and do setups and there's scenes in it that have to be redone when there's effects and stuff like that, and we have stunts in it, etc. But that said, we wanted to be open to be able to do improv, and we got a lot of good stuff that way. Stuff we would have never thought of just from the actors. There's a whole scene where it's literally the actors are just walking around and they're lost, and probably 90% of that is just them just jiving, improving, and we got good stuff from
I was
them.
going to say, as far as the found footage aspect, it must be difficult and challenging to make it look like real found footage, because you watch some of these movies like Cloverfield. I don't believe that's really some guy carrying a camera. In this, that looks, like that's a guy doing a show, shooting it's like a different thing, and it's kind of a different aesthetic that you guys have to use within the horror movie. So how did you guys just kind of look at that?
Well, we were pretty conscious of that. We've watched a ton of these kind of found footage films, and like a good example is Rec versus Quarantine, which is the American remake of the Spanish film. We thought Rec was really cool because it really looks pretty authentic, because I don't think they had a lot of money, and it really is kind of what it is. It looks like just some kind of crappy TV show. Compare that to the huge $30 million Hollywood remake, which just, it looks too good. It's too
You're removed
slick.
from it.
Yeah, and I think there's a level of removal. So we wanted to kind of find a middle ground almost between those two, something that was still, could be, kind of slick and kind of at times feel kind of more like a real movie, and have a lot of tone to it. But then at the same time, we cut in shots in the movie where the camera's just like going everywhere, and it looks totally
Just enough
amateur.
to not make you puke.
Right.
So now, with the Vicious Brothers, I mean, is it always going to be horror with you guys, or do we see a comedy by the Vicious Brothers? Because you can take this moniker a couple of different ways, and if you apply that to any genre, or do you plan on sticking kind of and make yourselves horror guys at this point?
I think for now, I mean, Stu and I are very stoked on just the idea of creating movies that have a vicious slant and are shockingly violent and scary, and pushing the limits as far as we can in the comedies, not in the direction that we're going right now. Or drama.
Yeah, I think we'll probably be doing, we love horror, thriller, psychological thriller, all those terms apply. Probably not musical.
No musical.
Not anytime soon.
Horror musical. It's been a while.
It's been a while. Maybe the world needs one. What do you
actually,
think?
that's a lie. They had that one that gave me a headache. What was that thing?
Which
The
one?
Repo.
Oh, yeah, that thing.
You guys love that movie, huh?
Yeah, that was
Huge fans.
That was a good one.